Now I want to look how traits are inherited when they are linked to the X chromosome. So let's look at an X-linked cross. One example of this was in the fruit flies, the Drosophila, that Thomas Hunt Morgan studied. So let's start with just the basics of gender inheritance. So when we look at this, we're going to have a male and a female. So females have two X chromosomes, and we're going to cross that with a male, so they have an X and a Y. In this case, the female has the same chromosome here. There's an X and an X. That means she can only pass on an egg with an X chromosome. There's only one option. In this case, the male has two options. He's got an X and a Y. So he can make a sperm cell with an X in it or a sperm cell with a Y in it. So this means I need a 1 by 2 Punnett square. So I'm going to draw it like this. So I'll put my female on the left, so each gamete gets its own row, and then I'll put my male at the top. Each sperm gets its own column. So this we combine, so the X from the left, and then the X from the top. And then here we bring the X over from the left, and then the Y down from the top. So this shows me that when I mate a male and a female, I have a 50% option of getting a female and a 50% outcome of getting a male. Right? So that is a 1-to-1 ratio. When traits are linked to a chromosome, a lot of the time we will write them as a superscript. So in the trait looking at the fruit flies, the Drosophila, we looked at red eyes. So big R is red, only it looks like it's stuck on the X chromosome. So this is red. And then the mutant type was white eyes. So that's also going to be on the X chromosome, but it's going to be recessive. So X(r) is going to be the white. And so this just tells me that this trait for red or white eyes is on the X chromosome. So when Thomas Hunt Morgan did this, he found when he did a monohybrid cross, so let's move over here a little bit. Right, so here's our alleles. Big X, big R is red. X(r) stands for white. So Thomas Hunt Morgan did a monohybrid cross where he took red-eyed females, so they would be big X, X, that's female, and they were hybrid, so big R, little r, that means they're heterozygote, and he crossed them with red-eyed males. So males only have one X chromosome, and this male has red eyes, so I'm going to give it a big R. I don't write an R on the Y chromosome. This is a different chromosome, and it doesn't have the trait for eye color on it. So the males can actually only inherit one gene for eye color. Okay, so now to do this cross, we're going to figure out our gametes. Well, in this case, now that we're looking at this linked trait, the female doesn't have, these two X's aren't the same. So she can pass on an egg with a big R or an X with a little r. And then the male has the different gametes as well. So he can pass on a sperm cell with the X big R or a sperm cell with a Y with no R on it at all. So now I need a 2 by 2 Punnett square. Right. I'm going to draw the female on the left. Each gamete gets its own row. So X big R, X little r. And then same for the males. Each gamete gets its own column. X big R, and Y. So now we're just going to bring these across and down. So X big R from the left, X big R from the top, and I'm going to draw X big R from the top first, and then X little r from the left. Whenever you have a capital and a lowercase, you just write the capital letter first. Doesn't matter which side it came from. And then for the other half, we're going to do X big R from the left and Y from the top, and then X little r from the left, and then Y from the top. So my males are over here on the right, and the females are over here on the left. All right, so let's look at what we got. So if we just look at male to female, we see the same 50-50 ratio. So we get 50% male and 50% female. Awesome. But now let's look at the eye color. Both of the girls, so XX, have red eyes. So the female all have red eyes. One of them is homozygous dominant, so that's the one on the top left here, X big R, X big R. And then one of them is heterozygous, so X big R, X little r. But because she has this first X, this little r gets covered up. So females all had red eyes. If we look at the males, though, half have red eyes, and then this one has white. So only males had white eyes. Well, why is this? That's because it's on the X chromosome. This male who received the lowercase r from his mother didn't get an eye color trait from his dad. So X, because they only have one X, males are more likely to express a recessive trait on an X chromosome. So for the males, half of the males had red eyes, and half of the males have white eyes.